Hey, good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Lance.
What were you doing this morning? Tell me about your morning a little bit.
Well, we started off early this morning feeding cows. That's what I get to do these days is feed cows. I'm in the ranching business, so
Taking care of the kids, kind of like that, right?
you bet.
Yeah. Hey, brought you in today to just to have a conversation. We have our food bank event coming up, and we're sitting in what we consider like a legacy building, and where it's part of your story, but it's also part of our story. We'd love for you to just tell that story from this perspective right now. Could you tell us that story of what was happening and how you pulled things together?
I'd love to, and I think it's a great story because it not only involved the county, but it involved so many businesses in the county and so many individuals, so it was a great story. The food bank at that time was using the old county road and bridge shop to store food in. You remember that?
That was a tough place.
It was a tough
That was a
place.
rough place.
And so I talked to the other two commissioners, and I said, I got an idea. I said, we need to build a building to store food in. And he said, what are you thinking? I said, well, the county owns a little piece of land, and I said, if you would donate that to a building to be built on, I said, I think I can get it big. I think I can build it without using any kind of resources outside the land. And so they both agreed to that. And so I put together a plan, and my old buddy Scott Erickson, everybody remembers Scott Erickson,
Yeah, great guy,
who owned Colorado Construction out there west of town. I went to see him, and so I described what I needed, and he immediately said, well, this kind of size you're talking. And I said, I think we need to do this. So he said, okay. So I said, if I buy the building from you, would you erect it? And he was like, you want me to put it up? I said, yeah, I do. I said, but I'll buy the building from you. So it all came together with probably over 20 different donors that put it all together. And so it's just when you see a project finally come together, you're just kind of overwhelmed with thankfulness as you live in a community like we get to live in.
Yeah.
And I think through the years, we've probably seen some people that we've helped who's still in our community that I talk to personally that say, hey, if it wasn't for the food bank, it wasn't for the food in Alamosa County, they helped me through some tough times. I have a job now, I'm working, my kids are doing good. Those are always good feelings.
I see every walk of life at some point have a really hard time.
Sure.
And the people that have come to the network
Exactly.
have almost represent so many occupations. It's just unreal.
You got it.
And thinking about the network serves 8,000, 10,000, sometimes more individuals a year. That's the unduplicated number. Just the reach is phenomenal. Could you say more about your vision behind just tell us what community means to you in that sense, and how far this reaches.
Community to me means not only Alamosa County, but not only the San Luis Valley, but the state of Colorado. And I did go back to the very beginning and thank all the residents and folks in Alamosa County for letting me serve the community as a commissioner for 24 years. And I loved every moment of my job, except maybe the last 7 or 8 months with the COVID that kind of snuck in there on us, and that made life kind of miserable there for a while. But I think we're seeing the brighter side of that. But community to me means, just like I talked about earlier, that I pick up the phone and I call one of the contractors or I call one of the construction workers and say, hey, this is what I need. And they say, you got it. And I look around our whole community, and I sometimes I feel like, the San Luis Valley is one big county, not just Alamosa County. But I felt like through my years of service, I was always able to reach out to my other commissioners in the valley, my other commissioners in the state, to try to do things better for my community.
things that I remember as well, and that we're just so grateful for. So you have this friendship circle that you grew through your public service, and then so many of those friends that are supporting you then become part of supporting this this event in this building. And when we have the event here, we have the Rotary Club, San Luis Valley Health. There's a church from Gunnison that comes down, and from Colorado Springs that come down, and they just remark about what an amazing community we have. And it's part of the legacy that this building is your actions, but then now that's just created the opportunity for other people to engage in acts of service and learn to support people, our community, people who are hungry in our community and with other needs. It's a story of gratitude, and we're grateful to you and for that legacy. Do you have anything more you'd want to say about what legacy means to you?
Legacy to me means when I left my job as commissioner, I could look back and hang my hat on some of the projects that we've done in our community that were satisfying for me to actually have them complete, 100% complete and done, and actually projects that serve our citizens and serve our community. Mm-hmm. And to be able to look back as I drive by and say, hey, I had my finger in that, and to drive around and see some of the improvements we made in the valley, not only the food bank warehouse that we have here, but other structures that we needed and structures that was put to us that we had to have, and to be able to get those projects done. That's a legacy I'd like to leave behind. I'd like to leave behind a legacy saying, Commissioner Darius Allen there, he had a good sense and a good feel of the people that he represented, and he was able to listen to those and do some things in the right way. That's the legacy I want to leave.
And this is a safety net, and this is a safety net that will serve people into the future, but it's a safety net that has a huge expanse to it and a lot of heart to it.
Betcha. Yeah. And I think we've done a good job. It's something that's used every day, and it excites me to know that we are part of that and part of the food distribution center, not only in Alamosa County but the valley.
Yeah. Well, you have such an incredible heart, and the life that you've lived is going to be, we celebrate that. People don't also learn that. People learn pretty quickly that you also have this sense of humor, and that you bring your sense of humor into stressful situations, other situations. I'm just wondering, do you have a joke you could tell us that we could?
Maybe not a joke, but maybe I can tell you. There's a difference between commitment and a contribution. Take breakfast, for instance. Okay. What you having for breakfast? Well, you're having bacon and eggs. That bacon came from a commitment. The eggs came from a contribution.
Yes. Ooh, so I like that.
Remember that. There's a difference between a contribution and a commitment.
Very good. Well, thank you for your commitment, Darius.
You bet you.
We love you.
Thank you, and we sure appreciate everything you do here in the valley and in Alamosa County and statewide. And you're recognized statewide. And we reach out to a lot of people, and I think. We kind of miss that generosity on tap every year. You kind of allowed me to play auctioneer and see how much money we could raise, and I hope we can continue to raise money for this facility and for the food that's brought in here and help distribute that. So
well, you'll be recruited for a long, long time.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lance.
You bet you.
All right.